Hello, beautiful souls. I was going to start off by saying I hope you are all doing so well, but as we know, we are currently in eclipse season, and with eclipses comes chaotic, turbulent, fated type of energies. And today we have the new moon in Libra, and it is a solar eclipse as well. So we are kind of closing out the eclipse portal for this year. And I'm saying kind of because, as we know, eclipse energy is active 6 months before and 6 months after the energetic portal. So I wanted to come on here to talk about the energies as well as touch on the fact that we're going to be shifting energetic axes in the upcoming year when it comes to eclipses. So for the past year, we've been on the axis of Aries, balance our own needs and interests, and then not falling into the traps of social conditioning, such as people pleasing, remaining silent when we need to speak up and share our truth. So we're going to be closing out this huge soul lesson that we've been moving through as a collective. We're going to be tying the knot, so to speak, on this cycle next year when we have the final eclipse in Aries. So we're going to officially move out of the Libra Aries axis and officially be in the Pisces-Virgo axis. But we've already gotten a little taste of what the next axis is going to look like with the partial lunar eclipse in Pisces that we had a couple weeks ago. So Pisces, as we all know, rules the 12th house in astrology, and the 12th house is a heavier house, and a lot of people tend to shy away from this house because of what it represents. So it represents the subconscious, it represents our dream time, and it also represents mental health and any kind of thing that we weren't able to fit in the 11 houses before fall into the 12th house. So you can kind of see the 12th house as a house of misfit energy. So we don't know what we're going to find in this house. And it's an understanding that the full moon in Pisces that we had a couple weeks ago kind of gave us a glimpse into what we're going to have to deal with in the upcoming years as we transition into eclipse seasons being predominantly in Virgo and Pisces. So as mentioned, we're going to be leaving behind the Aries-Libra axis. And this is because the universe is going to trust that we have mastered the lessons when it comes to relationships. We're going to be encouraged to really step into our own authority, thanks to Aries energy, but we're going to be able to do so in a diplomatic, gentle, but fierce fashion, thanks to Libra. And given that we're going to have a more solidified sense of self, we're now going to be able to move into the next axis where Pisces is going to challenge us to dissolve that sense of self so that our true self can emerge after all of it. And you might be thinking, Leah, I just kind of got somewhere in my life. I feel confident. I feel secure. And you're telling me I'm going to have to dissolve? Yes. Because right now we are not in our final stage. Aries has given us that boost of energy, and Libra has allowed us to balance that energy. But Pisces is going to ask, what can you dissolve and release and let go so that you can heal and emerge even better, even stronger, and even more grounded into the truth of who you are. And this is the axis energy that we're going to be shifting into as we move into Pisces and Virgo. And as mentioned, the partial lunar eclipse in Pisces gave us a glimpse as to what area of life we're going to have to work on. So as always, we all have Pisces somewhere in our birth chart. So the lunar eclipse we had a couple weeks ago fell in that specific house. So wherever you have Pisces in your own birth chart is where you're going to be asked to dissolve that sense of self that you've created so far. Because it's an understanding that with the Aries-Libra axis, we're in kind of social houses. And we're social because Aries and Libra both have a masculine polarity. So this means the energy is by default externally driven. But as we shift into Pisces and Virgo, we're going to be initiated into stepping into feminine energy. And feminine energy is introspective. It's reflective. It does its work behind the scenes. So as much as we've been working really hard to rebalance our relationships and to heal our relationship to ourselves, we're going to be asked to kind of slow down and do more inner journeying and inner healing over the next year or so as we shift axis. So it's important to note that today, with the solar eclipse in Libra, what is actually happening is that the father figure, which we attribute to the sun, is being eclipsed by the moon. And the moon is the feminine archetype, the mother archetype. So the sense and imagery I got as I was meditating upon these energies is that we're seeing a rebirth of the ancient feminine emerge through the collective consciousness. And for those of us that have been overly programmed and conditioned to favor masculine traits and tendencies, we're going to kind of feel this psychotic kind of break happen. If we've been completely shut down from our feminine aspect, we're going to experience over the upcoming months and years a big shift, a big break down, I want to say, because we have Pisces energy here, and Pisces rules mental health. So we can allude to breakdowns. And it's understanding that breakdowns need to happen because the current energy flow that we are in is no longer supportive. We have this preconceived idea that when someone has a breakdown, that there's something fundamentally wrong. And unfortunately, that's how we've been conditioned to view mental health, as issues, as problems. Whereas if you take an energetic, more psychic lens to observe what is actually going on, is that the energy needs to shift. And sometimes there needs to be a break for that shift to happen. So when we apply a spiritual lens and perception to mental health, we realize that what's actually happening is that there are certain energies within the auric field that need to be cleared out. But it's an understanding that we have energy, but then we also have density. Our physical vessels are dense. So it's hard for our physical vessel to keep up with the energetic jumps and shifts we need to make. Hence us experiencing breakdowns on occasion, because the energies need to come back together harmoniously. But in order to do so, there needs to be a break. So I wouldn't be surprised in the upcoming months or years if more of us experience breakdowns in order to break through and realize deeper truths about why we are here and what our soul path is. Because it's also an understanding that Pisces rules spirituality. We can also tie in awakening into Pisces energy. So as much as we've been social over the past year or so during eclipse season with Aries and Libra, we're going to be taking on a huge shift into the feminine, into spirituality, into awakening. And for a lot of us, as I mentioned, that have been conditioned, it's going to be hard to break out of that, especially if we've been molded for years. But that's the shift we're going to be going through in terms of the collective. And it's an understanding that today, Father Sun is going to be eclipsed by the Mother. And this is symbolic because we as a collective are witnessing a resurgence of the ancient feminine. And the imagery I got this morning as I was meditating was this breakthrough out of the earth's crust of this goddess coming through. And it's understanding that regardless of gender, we all have inner feminine energy. And she's going to be bursting out of us a lot more over the upcoming months and years. And this is the huge shift that we are being initiated into today. For centuries, father, son, the father, the patriarch has been the predominant energy. We've all but forgotten the mother, the goddess. But she's been awakening more and more, and today is the portal in which we are all going to be initiated into stepping into our inner feminine, our inner goddess even more. And this is so we can emerge truly balanced. Because even though Aries and Libra have taught us how to be balanced within our relationships, we need to integrate balance and harmony at a soul level. And this is where Virgo and Pisces are going to be predominantly our guiding archetypes moving forward, because Pisces, as I said, rules spirituality. But then we have Virgo. Virgo is the healer. Virgo is ruled by Chiron, who is also known as the wounded. That's why I'm seeing this emergence of this earth goddess coming through for the collective. And it's an understanding that those that have been stuck in the more masculine traits and that are still holding on to predominantly masculine ideologies, they're going to have the hardest time with this shift that we're entering into as a collective. Those that have been fairly balanced energetically, that have been relatively open to the feminine, this shift is going to be a lot smoother. And this shift brings me to talking about Pluto in Capricorn. So as we know, Pluto is the planet of destruction, transformation, alchemy. And we currently have this planet back in Capricorn at the moment. And Capricorn rules governments. It rules structures, institutions. With the two combined, we get deep shadows coming up for the collective around these aspects of society. And it's interesting because this is the last time that Pluto is going to be transitioning through Capricorn for our lifetimes. Pluto is going to be shifting and remaining in Aquarius moving forward, and Pluto is going to be there permanently. So even though we have the solar eclipse in Libra today, we also have this underlying energy of Pluto and Capricorn also happening. So what does this all mean when we put it together? It means that as a collective, we're being initiated into doing deep shadow work when it comes to authority, when it comes to leadership and standing up for one's self. We have Pluto challenging your inner constitution as a person. And then we also have the sun being blocked out by the mother. So we're being encouraged to awaken our inner authority when it comes to our inner feminine. And again, this is regardless of gender, because in order to thrive and be fully empowered, we need to be balanced in both our masculine and our feminine. So we are going through a huge shift at this time where the feminine is going to start taking more space. She's going to start to reclaim it and be more present and active. And what do I mean by feminine? I mean intuition. I mean sacred knowing without even knowing at all. These ancient ways of being that used to be revered and respected are going to be coming back online. And it's an understanding that the feminine does indeed have a rightful place by the masculine side. We need both. So as a collective, that is our initiation, and this is the portal or closing out portal that we're going to be moving through. And Black Moon Lilith also wants to come through at this time, because Black Moon Lilith, and we all have this placement somewhere in our birth chart, is a symbol of empowerment, is a symbol of our deepest desires and what we're here to, how can I say this? What we are here to stand for. is our Black Moon Lilith. So wherever she sits in your birth chart, whatever zodiac sign she's in, this is your key to empowerment, is knowing how to integrate her energy. And we're really being called to work with her over the upcoming months and years as we shift axis in terms of eclipse energy. So with that being said, it is a new moon today, and I did want to come on here to draw cards for the collective. I know I personally haven't been on here in a while. I've been moving through my own stuff and it's been heavy, so I've had to take some time away, but I really wanted to come on here to talk about the energies, and in particular the axis shift that we're going to be going through. If you do want more information about the shift into Pisces-Virgo, feel free to check out my blog on my website at iamthedragongoddess.com. I go into more depth about the energies that we can anticipate moving forward. So with today's reading, I was going to draw cards based on Libra placements, given all the Libra energy that we're currently in as a collective. But I wanted to have balanced energy come through. So I'm choosing a lighter deck as well as a darker deck today. And I wanted to kind of see what energy we're being called to say goodbye to, and what we're going to be stepping into over the next coming months and years in terms of empowerment, especially. So what kind of tendencies we need to leave behind or nurture or protect better moving forward, and what kind of empowerment we can anticipate based on Libra placements. So with that being said, I am going to follow the astrological wheel for this one. So I'm going to start with Libra ascendant. So Libra in the first house. So if you have this placement, this is going to be your reading. So let's see. Okay, interesting. So first card out is Sweeping Sister Willow 31. It's interesting. I'm already picking up a lot of messages from this card. Okay, this is very interesting. And then we have Blood Moon Superstition. So right away, for those of you that have Libra in the first house, or for who this resonates, there's going to be a sweeping out of your people-pleasing tendencies. If you're still struggling with communicating boundaries and saying no, that kind of persona and aspect of yourself is going to be swept out over the upcoming weeks, is what I'm hearing. So if you've been diligently doing the inner work to remove this tendency, and you're just like frustrated and being like, oh my God, I still say yes when I want to say no, this part of you is going to be clearing out. And you're going to be stepping into a royal powerhouse, literally. I say royal because she actually is wearing a crown here. And it can be hard for those of you that have Libra in the first house to kind of depict and figure out who your sense of self is, because Libra rules the 7th house, which is relationships and partnerships. So when we have Libra in the first house, there can be a lack of clarity around who we actually are as a person, because Libra energy is very open and receptive by nature to relational energy. So when we have Libra in the first house, we can have a hard time figuring out who we are, and setting boundaries can be even more challenging just because we are going to be relational by nature in our first house, which is our sense of self. So for Libra in the first house, you might have felt challenged by society, by friendships, by your own parents or siblings, and had a hard time describing who you are. You might have even realized that when people ask you who you are, you describe more so how others view you as opposed to how you view yourself. So this portal today is initiating you into this blood moon energy. And like, look how fierce she looks. So this is symbolic for you, Libra, in the first house, that you're going to be saying goodbye to this people pleaser energy and really stepping in to your own royal authority over here, putting boundaries. Because if you look at her hair here, you see the sharp edges. So to me, this indicates being able to speak your truth and set those boundaries like a boss without forgoing that inner softness that you're meant to carry in this life. And there's going to be more balance coming into your life as well. Because if you look at this picture, as I said, there's the sharp edges depicting masculine energy. But then we have the softness back here of feminine energy. So there's going to be a lot more balance coming into your life. And I find it interesting, as I look at this card, we see stars on the background. The stars basically line up with her eyes. And what I'm sensing here is that before, your line of sight when it came to yourself might have been blocked by how others viewed you. But right now, look at her eyes. They are clear. There's nothing blocking them at all. So this indicates to me that Libra in the first house, you're going to have clear sight moving forward. And for those of you that have been getting entangled, I'm hearing in like workplace drama or drama with friends, your sight into people and their motives and intentions is going to be sharpened. The wool will not be pulled over your eyes anymore. So there's a huge power up happening for those of you that have Libra in the first house. You're kind of foregoing, I'm sensing, maiden princess energy, and you're stepping into queen energy. And again, this is regardless of gender. I'm sensing real feminine authority coming through for those of you that have this placement. And it's an understanding that this energy is going to have to be released. And that it's okay. And it's also an understanding that when we release certain aspects of ourselves that have kept us safe up until now, it can cause some sadness. It can cause some grief. So if releasing this is bringing up some sadness, allow yourself to feel that sadness. Create a safe space to mourn. Because that is part of the death and rebirth cycle. And we often try to rush through the process. And you can't. Because again, even though energetically we know this isn't serving us, it's understanding that this energy has densified within our vessel over years, right? If we've been people pleasing our whole lives, this energy has become very dense. So it's going to take some time to clear out and remove. And it's going to leave a bit of a hole when we do clear it out till this new energy roots in. And the image I'm getting right now is just an overgrown garden of plants you don't even like. And it's just plants other people have put in there because that's how they see you. And the vision I'm getting for you right now is to just remove all of the plants out of the garden and start over. Get fresh soil. And create a garden that you want, because this garden is symbolic of you. It needs to be plants that you love and care about, not what other people care about. So if you're still stuck in people-pleasing mode, show yourself some grace, because this chapter is ending for you. Even if you're still struggling and you might be saying, Leah, I just said yes to something I don't want to yesterday, show yourself some compassion, because you are ending this cycle of people pleasing and stepping into this boss lady queen energy over here. So take your time. Again, show yourself some grace and some compassion, because this is the timeline that you will be stepping into, and people pleasing will be a thing of the past. You're not even going to recognize yourself come this time of year next year. I guarantee it. So that's all I'm getting for Libra in the first house. Feel free to let me know how that resonates or doesn't resonate. We are now going to move into Libra in the second house. So if you have this placement or this energy resonates, this message is for you. Okay, that's too many cards. All right, let's see what we have here. Oh, interesting. Okay, so we have Call of the Dancing Crane, number 4. And then we also have Witch's Moon, Magic and Mystery. Okay, so for those of you that have this placement, there's definitely going to be more, not only balance coming into your life, but more stability. So if you felt very unstable lately, especially when it comes to your finances, because the second house has to do with our finances, there's going to be more stability coming in, because on this card here, we have the number 4, and the 4 symbolizes stability, structure, order. But it's really interesting because as we look at this card, even though the number is predominantly masculine with representing structure and stability, we have this beautiful goddess back here, Kuan Yin, dancing and moving very smoothly. And then in this card, we have this woman looking at a sphere that represents the moon. And it's interesting because on the first card, we have a masculine number, yet a feminine image. And here we have the balance of both masculine and feminine here. So white predominantly represents masculine energy, and then black represents feminine energy. So again, we're seeing images of balance in both of these cards, which I find very interesting for Libra in the second house. And with this energy coming out, the main difference I'm sensing is that you've always been pretty much balanced when it comes to your finances and your values, because the second house also rules values, but you're going to be feeling more empowered in your sense of balance, and also being able to pivot between your feminine and your masculine, and this regardless of what others are saying. Because as I said earlier, Libra rules the 7th house of relationships. So this means it kind of creates an opening into our energetic field where other people's opinions of us can penetrate, enter, and influence us. So with having Libra in the 2nd house, there is an opening where other people's energy can influence your own. But with both these cards coming out, we see the softness of this first card, but then we see more power radiate from this card. So for those of you that have this placement, it's going to be strengthening boundaries when it comes to people telling you how you should be investing your money, or how you should be making your money, or what values you should have, what is important, what is not important. It's going to allow you to speak your mind and be a lot clearer, more direct, and to speak with an authoritative edge. Also, if you felt that people have not taken you seriously when you speak, especially when it comes to financial projects or undertakings, your throat chakra is going to be going through a renewal, where you're naturally going to be able to speak with more authority and command attention. So it's interesting because I'm kind of seeing this softer energy fade away, this soft spoken energy, and I'm hearing more of a booming, loud voice come through with this card over here. So very interesting. Libra in the 2nd house, huge renewal of the throat chakra that'll be taking place. And also with this card, we see this woman focused on the moon here. And this is also symbolic of you remaining focused on your goals and aspirations, regardless of what's going on. Because we see this woman, she's transfixed on this moon here. And then we see what kind of looks like fire in the background. So we can kind of see this to mean family drama, friend drama, work drama happening in the background. But this woman is unfazed because she is focused on the outcome that she desires. And we also have the word magic here. So this is really calling upon us setting intentions as we visualize the outcome that we are desiring and wanting to call into our life. And this, again, regardless of what's happening around us. So there's going to be a renewed sense of focus also coming through for Libra in the second house. If you felt kind of pulled in different directions by what others are saying, you're going to tune them out and just stay really focused on your goals. Because over here, we kind of see the energies kind of spread out. We could kind of see these kind of wisps of like clouds or smoke, symbolizing other people's energy interfering with our own. Whereas here, the energy is clear cut. And she's also cloaked, which symbolizes protection as well, as she's holding this moon, symbolic of her dreams and aspirations. So regardless of what this vision is, it is divinely protected by this black cloak. So this indicates for you, Libra, in the second house, that regardless of what this goal is, if it's in your heart, it's meant to be. But at the same time, exercise protection. Don't share your goals and aspirations with people that don't genuinely have your back. If you have family members or friends that are known to put you down or criticize what you're trying to do, do not share what this is with them. Keep this protected and keep it sacred. So that's all I'm getting for Libra in the second house. Feel free to share with me how that lands for you. I would love to hear from you. We're now going to move into Libra in the third house. So if you have this placement or this energy resonates, this is going to be your reading. All right, let's see. We have Sisters of the Star Blossoms, 27. And it's interesting because this card came through in reverse. And then we have Lunar Eclipse, Shadow Side, which is interesting because I was just talking about the lunar eclipse in Pisces we had a couple weeks ago. So it's interesting because with having Libra in the third house, this is the house that is predominantly ruled by Gemini, and Gemini is known as the twins. And it's interesting because in this card, we have multiple people. We have sisters here. And then as we progress, we only have one person on the next card. So I'm sensing different things coming through for those of you that have Libra in the third house. For those of you that have siblings, there could be something going on within the context of those relationships. And with the word blossom on this card, this could indicate the relationships with your siblings blossoming and improving. And then we have Lunar Eclipse, Shadow Side, coming through. And it's interesting because this woman is cloaked in red, and yet she also has a ring on her hand, and she's holding fire. So right away, what I'm sensing for Libra in the third house is there's going to be a strong, powerful renewal when it comes to your shadow self. And it's understanding that your shadow self is not bad. It's just parts of you that tend to be repressed and forgotten about. So this energy, your shadow side, is going to be taking center stage, and this isn't going to be a bad thing. It's your shadow side that's really going to allow you to step into your own authority and command attention as you move through life. And it's interesting because the colors that are predominant on this card are red, but then we also have specks of blue. So focusing in on the red symbolizes root chakra energy. So being very grounded and anchored in your sense of self. But then we have the specks of blue that represent throat chakra energy. So you have successfully anchored in your own authority, Libra, in the 3rd house. And you're going to be able to showcase this energy moving forward, because with the multiple people showing up on this card here and it being in the 3rd house, the 3rd house represents local community. So again, that means there's an energetic opening into your field where your local community and what people closest to you have to say can impact you energetically. But this is the energy that's falling away. The only part that's going to maintain is if you have siblings, those relationships improving. That's the only aspect of this card that's going to remain moving forward, because besides that, this is the energy that you're going to be stepping into, Libra, in the 3rd house. And you're just going to emerge as a powerhouse, and you're going to be unrecognizable to a lot of people. People are going to be like, who is this person? Because you're just going to emanate so much power moving forward. And it's interesting because not only do we have root chakra energy on this card and throat chakra energy, we have fire, which is solar plexus. And solar plexus represents our confidence, our self-esteem. So you're just going to be buzzing with confidence and self-esteem, and I want to say like unfuckable with. Because look at this woman's face. Look how fierce she looks. This is you, Libra, in the 3rd house. We kind of see the energies here on this card being softer, gentler. And it's understanding that this is falling away. You know, and I'm also sensing kind of some naivety with this card too. And here, this woman's gaze is fixed. It's direct. You see and you don't fuck around. So this is what you're going to be moving into, Libra, in the 3rd house. And it is a lot of power. And as we also always say, with great power comes great responsibility. So wield it with maturation and responsibility, because it's going to be intense. All right, so that's all I'm getting for Libra in the 3rd house. Feel free to share with me what's going on in your life right now. I would love to hear from you, because it definitely sounds very empowering and inspiring. Okay, so we're now going to move into Libra in the 4th house. So if you have this placement or this resonates, this is going to be your reading. So let's see. All right, so Libra in the 4th house. Interesting. We have Sisters of the Star Blossoms coming through again. And then we also have Dark Side of the Moon, Unforeseen. And then there was another card that wanted to come through. So we have Dynasty of the Divine Mother. So for those of you that have Libra in the 4th house, there's a strong renewal that's going to take place when it comes to divine feminine energy. And this in relation to sisters and or your mother, with both the sister card coming through and the divine mother coming through. I'm so happy that you're here too. We'll have to properly catch up at some point, because I definitely miss being in your energy, sister. So yeah, Libra in the 4th house, big energy when it comes to healing the divine feminine within your bloodline with these cards coming out. Yeah, we'll definitely have to get together so we can catch up properly. But yeah, so for those of you that have Libra in the 4th house, there's a huge mother wound that's going to be coming to the surface. Huge sister wound, possibly, for those of you that have sisters. And it's because you have the time, the space, and the energy for it to come through your vessel. And then we have dark side of the moon, unforeseen. So to me, this indicates a dark side of the mother archetype coming through. So this could be a darker side to your mother, or if you're a mother, coming through. So this could be a facet either, let me rephrase that, of your own mother that you discover or come across, or if you are a mother as well, this could be a facet of your shadow self that also comes through for you to observe, heal, and then integrate if that is supportive to you. Because that's the thing, when it comes to shadows, it's deciding if the shadow itself is empowering or disempowering. It's realizing that we are always sovereign in our decisions when it comes to our healing journey. If an aspect of ourself we find empowering, even though other people might not find it empowering, we are sovereign and we can choose to integrate that facet if that's what we want to do. And if it's a facet that's not, sorry, I just have loose hairs here that I'm trying to remove off my leg. If it's a facet that causes us harm or sadness, we can release it. But it's realizing that the shadows are not all bad and they are not all good. We need to do the inner work to figure out, okay, is that supportive for us or not? So Libra in the 4th house, a lot of healing is coming through for you in the upcoming weeks. So I'm definitely sensing that this dark side of the moon, what's unforeseen, is going to be revealed sooner than later. It's not going to take a year. It's going to take a matter of weeks for you to uncover what this is. And it's going to bring huge healing, not only to yourself, but to your sisters if you have some, but also to your mother. And it's realizing that the relationship to the mother can be complicated, right? Unfortunately, we haven't all had the luxury of having a loving, supportive, compassionate mother. So for those of us that had a harsher, maybe detached mother, this energy is going to come through to soothe that pain. That sounds good, my love. Thank you so much for stopping in. And it's the dynasty of the divine mother. So for those of you that have this placement, you might actually feel called to be a servant of the goddess. And it's an understanding that when we are called to the goddess, we are often called to either serve her through her teachings and or to serve her through being her embodiment. And this can resonate for men, but I've noticed it predominantly in women. A lot of women are getting the call to just step in and be the physical embodiment of the goddess. And this means being the embodiment of her sacred teachings that we have lost touch with. So there's going to be a huge renewal of this energy happening within you, Libra, in the 4th house. You are going to begin to remember lifetimes where you have been in service to the goddess, and it is this divine remembrance that's going to allow you to step into your mission and purpose once more. Because this is you, Libra, in the 4th house. And I invite you to just gaze upon this card. What do you notice? What sensations move through your body? This is you remembering exactly who you are. With this card, you're also going to be awakening dormant gifts As soon as you surrender in realizing that the Divine Mother, the goddess, is part of your path, more of your spiritual gifts are going to be coming online. You're going to be able to see clearer. You're going to be able to receive downloads effortlessly. And your life is going to significantly improve. So if you've been going through a hard time, maybe you've been depressed, maybe you've been overly anxious and have had trouble sleeping, that energy is going to clear out. And it's understanding that those energies, the depression, the anxiety, that's just your physical body's response to new energies that want to come through. And in knowing that, it's time to clear it out so that these energies can come in and root. There's more power on the horizon for you, Libra, in the 4th house, but space needs to be cleared out. All the times that you have second-guessed yourself, that you have doubted your abilities, that loop needs to end and be released. And as soon as you make that decision, you just need to decide. This power is going to unlock for you, and you're going to have gifts that you couldn't even have imagined having. So go easy on yourself and pay attention. Observe. If you're spending time with your mother, with sisters, or if you're spending time with your child and you're noticing these tendencies that flare up that aren't really empowering, pay attention to those, because that is what's guiding you to this. Deeper power, rooted power that's grounded and anchored into the Divine Mother, into Gaia herself. So that's all I'm getting for Libra in the 4th house. It sounds like a huge empowerment awakening is going to be taking place for you. So feel free to share with me what you're going through. I would love to hear from you. So let's see. We're now moving into Libra in the 5th house. Okay, so we have Call of the Dancing Crane coming up for this pile too, with card number 4. And then we have Rhiannon, Dream Weaving. So it's really interesting because what I'm sensing for Libra in the 5th house, I'm just going to reposition myself here. And it's really interesting because Libra in the 5th house is creativity, and it's just art and expression and just really being creative and playful and having fun. And expression is going to completely shift. It's going to take on a darker edge. There's going to be more power radiating from your artwork. So you might have been creating and making art with specific mediums up until now. I wouldn't be surprised if you completely change mediums over the next coming weeks and or months, because a different facet of who you are is going to be awakening and coming through, and you're going to want to express this new facet through your art. So pay attention to what inspires you in terms of artistic expression. Maybe you follow a bunch of artists on, hang on, I'm just going to reposition my light here. Maybe you follow a bunch of artists on Instagram or Facebook, or maybe you go to classes and then one day somebody comes out with another medium that you haven't experienced or tried before, but you're going to get that inkling of, I want to try it. And this is what's going to be happening for you, Libra, in the 5th house. It's going to be about you renewing your artistic expression and it radiating more heart, because this woman is wearing green, which is associated with the heart chakra. And it's a dark green, so it's heart energy with an edge. But it's energy with an edge that is remaining a sense of purity. I would say with this unicorn back here, it is just a horse, but it could be a unicorn. So there is strong, powerful heart chakra energy coming through. But then we also have that purity, that magical essence that's going to be remaining intact in your work. And I'm also getting that some of you, your creative talents could be writing, could be speaking, could be singing. And it's understanding that you're going to have more of an edge to you, but you're going to remain connected to this angelic, pure energy. And it's an understanding that as you shift into this energy, there's going to be divine blessings and miracles coming your way with these stars here. So you might get unforeseen opportunities to collaborate with people, showcase your work. So just be open to that and don't be afraid to experiment and release what you've been used to in the past. And really embrace this new form of self-expression. And it's interesting because we also have a symbol down here and she's resting her hand upon it. So for those of you that are interested in the occult, that are interested in more esoteric topics, goddesses and such, looking into this symbol and what it represents could be very supportive and inspiring for you, because as we see here, this goddess is laying her hand upon it. So figuring out what this means to you is going to be important, because this is going to be your foundation. And we can see that she's resting her hand, and we usually create with our hands. So there's going to be a strong energetic renewal happening within your palm chakras. So even if you're in the healing arts, for example, maybe you're in Reiki or maybe you read cards, there's going to be a renewal happening for you. You're going to be awakening to maybe a different modality or creating your own modality over the upcoming weeks and months. And it's understanding that your energy is going to be dancing between all three of these: heart chakra, purity, and also an ancient sacredness that's going to be coming through. And with the number 4 on this card here, 4 symbolizes stability. You might have to forego feeling stable in your new creative endeavors and take a bit of a risk, but it is going to pay off. Because look at this woman's face. She's very secure in her sense of self. She knows what she has to offer, and she's divinely protected too by this white horse spirit. So dare to express yourself differently, Libra, in the 5th house. You are going to be glad you did. And I'm more so seeing the payoff of this happen this time next year. You're really going to be like, wow, I'm glad I switched. So be brave, Libra, in the 5th house, and express yourself differently. All right, so that's all I'm getting for Libra in the 5th house. If you're an artist or a creative, feel free to let me know and to share your artwork and what it is you do. All right, so we're going to move in to Libra in the 6th house. If you have this placement, this is going to be your reading. All right, and before I even look at these cards, I'm already getting a message that wants to come through. So Libra in the 6th house, the 6th house is ruled by Virgo. So as I was talking about breakdowns and kind of psychotic breaks of energy, if you have this placement, you are susceptible more than any other placement to feeling that kind of break, just because of the combination of air energy and earth energy in this one house. And as mentioned, Virgo is ruled by Chiron, so we have that Chironic energy imprinted in the 6th house as well. So again, be gentle and compassionate with yourself if a psychotic kind of break occurs. It's just because there's new energy that wants to come through. But as always, I'm not a medical professional. Take this how it resonates and make sure you get support for yourself. All right, so in terms of cards, Interesting. The same cards keep coming out. We have Sweeping Sister Willow. So similar kind of theme to Libra in the first house. Oh my god. This card came out already. And then we have Witch's Moon Magic. And then we have this card for Libra in the second house. So if that resonates for you, you might want to check out those placements. Or I should rephrase and say the messages for those placements, because there could be a message there for you. Because similar in theme for Libra in the sixth house, there's a letting go that's going to be happening. And it's really interesting because as we look at these cards, we have this woman looking upwards in a certain direction. And then we have this woman looking downwards in the opposite direction. And as I look at the cards, the Sweeping Sister Willow is looking towards the left. And then we have the Witch looking over to the right. So the first thing I'm sensing for my Libras in the sixth house is that there's going to be a change in work environment. The change for some of you is going to be unexpected. For others of you, you have kind of foreseen this coming. And I'm kind of getting that for some of my Libras in the sixth house. It's going to be leaving the workplace permanently to pursue your own business over here. If you've been thinking about it, this is confirmation that it's something that you should seriously contemplate with this card coming out. Because we have the card here of the Sweeping Sister Willow. And for me, she's looking towards the past. The way things should have been or have been, wishing they would go back to those simpler days. But it's understanding that they're not going to. Things are not going to go back to the way they were. So if you're still holding out and hoping that your work environment, maybe things dramatically changed, maybe you're still hoping that they go back to the way they were, they're not going to. So you're going to have to make a decision. And the decision is either you keep waiting in your current workspace or you take a risk and bet on yourself. And it's understanding that similar to Libra in the second house, whatever this undertaking is, it is divinely protected. It is sacred. And the divine wouldn't put a dream or concept for a business in your heart without giving you the appropriate support to make it happen. But you're going to have to choose between both these energies. Are you going to want to remain comfortable in your workspace that's not supporting you? Or are you going to take a risk and, as I said, bet on yourself and really invest your energy in this creation here? And it's understanding that whatever this is, it's protected. It is meant to be yours. This doesn't mean it's going to be smooth sailing the whole time to reach whatever this is, but it's knowing that you're going to receive support. And you're not going to be alone as you walk towards these goals of yours. And it's interesting. The next thing that's catching my eyes, this woman has like no makeup around her eyes. Whereas this woman has a lot of makeup around her eyes. This one's wearing lipstick. This one isn't. So there's something about the lips and the eyes that are really significant here. And also her hair is tied for the most part, whereas her hair is loose. So there's going to be a complete change and shift, not only in your work environment, but how you carry yourself within the workspace. You might change your wardrobe for some of you if you've been feeling a lack of confidence or self-esteem. Changing how you dress, how you do your makeup might provide you with more confidence and self-esteem. And yeah, I'm definitely sensing like releasing being naive to just embrace being able to clearly see things for what they truly are. So that's all I'm getting for Libra in the 6th house. The closing message I'm getting is to trust yourself. Trust your sight. Trust the intuitive hits you're getting because they are your own divine compass coming back online. All right. So we're now going to move into Libra in the 7th house. So if you have this placement or this resonates, this will be your reading. That card like flew out. All right. Let's see. Libra in the 7th house. Okay. 2 cards wanted to come out. I think we're just going to go with it and see what happens. All right. So we have, oh my God. Wow. This card has come out yet again. And keep in mind, I've shuffled this deck and this card keeps wanting to come out. So we have Sweeping Sister Willow. So sisterhood has become a big theme of this reading so far. So sisters are significant, be they blood or not blood. And sisterhood is definitely going to be playing a predominant role in your life moving forward, Libra in the 7th house. We then have, Solar Eclipse, Transmutation. And we also have Snow Moon, Purification. So very powerful energy for you, Libra, in the 7th house. So let's see here. So it's interesting. As I look at the Sweeping Sister Willow, there's the number 31 here. So we see the 3 and then we see the 1. So the 3 represents Empress energy, divine love. And then we have the number 1, which represents the Magician. And the Magician is also ruled by Mercury. So we have Mercury energy coming through. And I sense that for those of you that have this placement, you're going to be tapping into stronger, more powerful manifestation abilities. But it's going to first require that you transmute everything that's been blocking you up until this point. And it's really interesting because the energy is very balanced. We have the moon here causing the solar eclipse, but then we have a full moon here. So we have black and then we have white. So feminine and masculine energy are going to be very balanced in your life moving forward after today. But it's understanding that your inner feminine is going to have a fiercer edge to you. Like, look at this woman's face. Very fierce indeed. And it's really interesting because we see this ball of light, right? Kind of hovering a little bit over her head. And to me, this indicates soul star chakra energy. So really remembering your divine imprint and not letting anybody fuck with it, whatever it may be, because the whole color of this card is predominantly black, and black represents protection. So whatever this divine calling and remembrance is, it is sacred and it is protected highly by the unseen realms. So if things have been challenging for you, Libra, in the 7th house, you are going to be having a a renewed sense of self come through and more divine protection be available to you. And it's interesting because we have this light here, and then we're seeing this ring of fire come down and kind of meet her where her third eye would be. So we're getting soul star chakra energy, and we're also getting third eye chakra energy coming through. And it's really synchronistic that it's the solar eclipse card that has come out when we are having a solar eclipse today. So this energy is going to be very potent for you moving forward. And it's an understanding that regardless of when you watch this, this energy is active, because my readings are intended to be timeless, regardless of when you watch this. So we have a lot of heat coming through for Libra in the 7th house. But then we have this cooling effect with the snow moon, purification. And it's interesting because we have transmutation and then we have purification. So transmutation usually indicates that there are things we need to release, let go of. So there's going to be a kind of burning up of this sense of self that you thought you had, to really embrace who you are, which is this woman here. And once you've transmuted and released everything, you're going to go through a purification. So you can kind of see things as like, I'm kind of seeing the alchemical process of turning lead into gold, you know? So here we're shifting. We're changing the lead into gold. But then we have gold, but there's certain impurities still left. So the gold needs to go through a purification process. So this is what you're going to be going through, Libra, in the 7th house. So the next year, starting from today, is going to be significant for you. There's going to be a lot of personal shifts happening. There's going to be a lot of shifts happening within your partnerships. And it's interesting because here the energy is kind of radiating down towards her, whereas over here the energy is upwards with the wings of this owl here. So there's going to be a complete shift happening for you. Right now your energy is being focused internally for the next little while. And then it's going to be externally directed, and it's going to make you really happy. Because I'm seeing all these little specks of, I was going to say stars, but they're snowflakes. You know, maybe when we get our first snowfall, if you have snow where you live, you're going to kind of see the wonder of the universe taking place all around you. And things are going to significantly improve for you as well. So that's all I'm getting for Libra in the 7th house. Feel free to let me know how that resonates for you or doesn't resonate. I would love to hear from you. We're now going to move into Libra in the 8th house. Let's see. Oh, that card flew out. Wow, we have 2 cards for Libra in the 8th house. Let's see. We have the Book of Changes. And then we have Waning Crescent Moon, Banishment Magic. And we also have Moon Essence, Imbuement. This card is beautiful. Alright, so I was going to say Scorpio in the 8th house randomly. So if you have that placement or that energy, Scorpio in the 8th house wants to come through. So Libra in the 8th house. Let's see here. So right away, I was kind of picking up some like mischievous energy from this card. If you look at this woman's face. And that she's kind of up to something. I don't know what. And it's interesting because in this card, we have a woman here, and she's also holding something. So here, the woman's playing a harp, and here, the woman's holding what looks like a bowl with herbs. And it's interesting because over here, we have more herbs and items, and we also have a vial with the full moon. So I'm kind of picking up witchcraft for those of you that have Libra in the 8th house. If that's something you've been contemplating or thinking about exploring further, this is confirmation that yes, you are meant to explore witchcraft even more. And for some of you, it's herbalism that wants to come through. For others of you, it is pure raw magic that you are meant to look into. And it's understanding that the 8th house is kind of like a secret hidden house. So there's going to be significant changes on the horizon for those of you that have Libra in the 8th house, but those changes aren't being revealed at this time. The only thing that's being revealed is that it has to do with witchcraft and or herbalism or herbs or healing. But it's something very hidden at the moment. And this mischievous kind of energy, this could be one of your guides coming through. It could be an ancestor coming through to guide you upon your next steps. And maybe this ancestor played the harp or played a musical instrument. And it's knowing that they're coming through to support you and guide you towards this energy, whatever this energy means to you. Also, if you can, Libra in the 8th house, traveling to sacred sites, if you can, is going to be very supportive for you to remember what this craft is. Or if you can't travel to sacred sites, simply spending time in nature is going to be very beneficial in terms of recalling what this change is about, because it's definitely going to be a big one. And we have the number 35 here. So 3 plus 5 gives us an 8. And 8 represents strength. So you're going to feel strengthened by these changes, whatever they are. And I'm sensing that these changes are going to take place starting today into November. So whenever you're watching this, that time period or November is going to be significant. I'm also picking up for some of you, it's summertime, that you're going to kind of witness what these changes were about, but it's mainly the month of November that's coming through. For others of you, it could be a specific full moon that is significant. So it could be the next full moon in Libra, which is going to be during Aries season. So those are all the messages I'm getting for those of you that have Libra in the 8th house. Feel free to let me know how that lands for you or doesn't land. I would love to hear from you. We are now moving into Libra in the 9th house. So if you have this placement or this energy resonates, this is going to be your reading. I don't want that many cards. All right. Oh, okay. So we have a blue moon phenomenon. And it's interesting because I flipped over the dark card first. Oh my god. Okay. Sweeping Sister Willow. Yet again. I think this is like the 3rd or 4th time this card comes out. So, as a general message for everyone so far, this kind of naive, people-pleasing energy is going to be swept away permanently. So, if you have had people-pleasing tendencies, know that you are in the final stretch of releasing that pattern. And with Blue Moon phenomenon coming through, again, we're having the interplay. I can't remember which house it was, but when we look at these cards, we have this woman looking up towards a direction, and then we have this woman looking down towards the opposite direction. And this woman has more of a kind of naive, hopeful look to her, whereas this woman over here looks like she's been through some shit. So I wouldn't be surprised if Libra in the fourth house. Okay, interesting. Libra in the fourth house, that reading might be important for you. There might be a message there since that wanted to come through. But anyways, Libra in the ninth house. The color blue is significant. So to me, this is indicating throat chakra energy. So you might be called to use your throat chakra a lot more starting today and moving forward. For some of you, if you've been through particularly challenging times and hardships, it could be starting to express this facet of yourself and allowing others to view and know these parts of you, especially if you've kept them hidden. And the fact that she's looking downwards indicates to me that you might be initiated into shadow work as well. So looking into the aspects of yourself that you have up until now ignored or been unaware of. And it's understanding that shadow work is not always easy. It is often very difficult and painful as we start to unravel all the parts of ourselves that we have kept hidden out of guilt, shame, or that we've just heavily repressed due to ancestral trauma. So starting to unpack all of this can be heavy. So be patient with your time. I mean, be patient with the time it takes to start to unravel this stuff. And it's interesting, we also have bats in the background, and bats are a symbol of shadow work. So for those of you that have Libra in the ninth house, or for those of you that this resonates for, shadow work is going to be the theme that you're going to be moving into. And for some of you, I'm hearing for the very first time. You're kind of leaving behind this kind of naive, ignorant energy to step into deeper knowing about yourself and who you are. I'd also say pay attention to your dream time during this time period. You could receive significant downloads and intuitive hits through the symbols coming through in your dream time, but also pay attention to synchronicities happening within your waking life. Maybe you keep seeing repeating numbers or repeating animal symbols and such. So pay attention to all of that because it is your subconscious becoming more active and starting to awaken for you to tap into. And similar to the other houses that had this card come through, we have 31 here, and 31 makes a 4. So there's a sense of stability that needs to be released because the shadow work that you're going to be undertaking is going to completely change who you are. But it's going to change completely who you are for the better, and you're going to emerge more empowered and clearer. I'm sensing that some of you might have felt confused or unclear about who you are or what you're meant to be doing with your life. This energy, this shadow work that you're going to undertake, this is where you're going to remember. All right, so those are all the messages I'm getting for Libra in the, I was going to say the 4th house again, in the 9th house. And know that if you are looking to undertake shadow work and are looking for guidance with that, feel free to reach out to me. I've been doing shadow work for a number of years now, and it is something that I'm I would say, equipped isn't the right word, but for lack of better words, well equipped and comfortable in navigating. The darkness is not something I personally fear, and having done shadow work for a long time now, there's a lot of power to be discovered there, and it would be my greatest pleasure to walk alongside you as you call back your power. All right, so we're now going to move into Libra in the 10th house. So if you have this placement or this resonates, this is going to be your message. Let's see. And Libra in the 10th house, I'm already picking up Capricorn energy because this is the house ruled by Capricorn. So again, we're in terms of energetic backdrop to your Libra placement, I also like to add in the house ruler and whatever planet is also in that zodiac sign as well. So for those of you that have Libra in the 10th house, which is the house ruled by Capricorn, we also have Plutonic energy coming through because Pluto is currently in Capricorn. So we have those energies playing out in addition to all the planets that are currently in Libra. So we have the sun, the moon, we also have the south node, and we have Mercury. So all those planetary influences are going to be coming through in your 10th house right now. Interesting. This card has come out already as well. So we have a Dynasty of the Divine Mother. And then we have, Bright Moon Potency. So right away, for those of you that have Libra in the 10th house, I'm picking up kind of mother issues, but these issues are going to be clearing out and you're going to be embracing a hot and steamy romance moving forward. I'm kind of sensing that any kind of ties to your mother that were disempowering you, and I'm mainly picking up male energy. So for sons that have felt disempowered by their mothers, you're going to be cutting those ties and really stepping into more enriching and powerful manliness moving forward. And this manliness is going to allow you to attract a new romantic partner, or if you're already in a relationship, deepen that romance and just exude more of that masculine energy, more protective energy, provider energy. Because just look at this man, how he's swaddling this woman and how at peace they look. And they're also in the forest, out in nature. And it's interesting because there's a couple of animals here too. We have butterflies. We have a beautiful stag, which represents leadership and can represent that raw masculine energy. And then we also have a red squirrel here. So there's something about divine masculine leadership, a significant partner, romantic partnership, I should say. And just indulging in romance is really what I'm picking up for Libra in the 10th house. And it has to do with releasing these ties to your mother so you can really step in to being a divine counterpart for this woman or whomever this person is. And it's interesting because we seem to have the full moon and then the sun. And we are a solar eclipse today. So we have the moon kind of slightly moving in front of the sun, but hasn't fully eclipsed the sun. So we're kind of seeing that masculine energy at the back here, providing that sense of stability and protection. And we're kind of seeing this divine feminine energy radiating at the forefront. So this is indicating that this masculine energy is coming through to really support this divine feminine even more. And even back here, that divine masculine sunlight radiating outwards and really illuminating this divine feminine. So there's something significant here about a partnership, and it is predominantly a romantic partnership and relationship that I'm picking up on. And with this card here, there's a sense of peace that's going to flow from this energy into this partnership. There's going to be more peace, more prosperity is what I'm picking up on here. More abundance and richness, and you're both going to feel very fulfilled moving forward. And I'm predominantly picking up on November as being significant, especially once Pluto shifts out of Capricorn. But yeah, that's all I'm picking up for Libra in the 10th house. Feel free to let me know how that resonates. I would love to hear from you. All right, so we are now going to move into Libra in the 11th house. So if you have this placement or this energy resonates, this is going to be your reading. Oh, that card flew out. Let's see. All right, we have the Amaryllis Lute. And then we have, Fruit Moon Bountiful coming out. So right away, what I'm picking up for those of you that have Libra in the 11th house is I'm picking up that for some of you, you might have felt really isolated and alone, and you might have felt as though you have to wear a mask within your friendships, and that it's been hard for you to form genuine connections with people. And this energy is going to clear out. You're going to be attracting in a bounty of friendships that feel fulfilling, that allow you to be truly seen for who you are. But it's in realizing that for a lot of my Libras in the 11th house, you're going to have to say goodbye to people that have been toxic. And this might create some pain because I'm sensing that for some of you, these are relationships that span well over 10 years for some of you. And you're going to have to close down these friendships because they are sucking the life out of you. And it's an understanding that when there's a painful ending, there's usually a new beginning, but we need to go through the painful ending first. So for those of you that have this placement, you're going to be encouraged to say no more to toxic friendships, to toxic networks. Maybe you've been part of groups that meet like once a week or once a month and they just trash talk other people. That's not the environment you are personally meant to be in. You are meant to be in this rich, fulfilling environment here. And it's interesting, just look at the colors. We have more so grayish colors over here, and then we have bright, vibrant colors in this next card. And this is symbolizing the shift you are making, Libra, in the 11th house. You are shifting into a more colorful friendship dynamic. And it's interesting because we have apples, which are a symbol of abundance. And then we also have a cute little fawn at the back here. So if you haven't felt supported in your relationships, you've been looking for that soft and gentle compassion, you are going to find it. You are going to be attracting in friendships that are heart-centered and heart-based. There's not going to be judgment here. There's not going to be criticism. You're going to feel at home with these people. So a lot of you are going to be calling in soul tribe over the upcoming months. And even though this might have been your energy, this is the energy you're going to be embodying and stepping into moving forward. And as a final message coming through for Libra in the 11th house, there's also flowers here. So this environment has felt kind of just dead to me. And over here, you're going to be blossoming. You're going to be sharing, maybe you have like weird quirks and hobbies that interest you. And you're going to have friends that you're going to feel safe with to share those parts of you with. Maybe some of them are actually into the same hobbies that you are. Maybe you're into something, I don't know, that's not really mainstream. And then you're going to find people that actually have those hobbies too. So there's kind of a homecoming happening for my Libras in the 11th house, and I can feel the energy, and it feels just so warm and welcoming. So I'm very happy for you. So those are all the messages I'm getting for Libra in the 11th house. Feel free to let me know what's going on with your friendships and your relationships. I would love to hear from you. We are now moving into Libra in the 12th house. And again, already, before I even shuffle these cards, 12th house Libra, you're in the house of Pisces. So there's going to be huge subconscious shifts happening for you over the next coming year. You're going to completely change direction when it comes to your life. We have Gates of Heaven, number 12, already coming out. And then we have Horned Moon God Virility. Interesting. Okay, so right away, if you are a female with Libra in the 12th house, there is a significant male coming through. This could be your current partner, or it could be a different male walking into your life. And it's interesting because as I look at both of these cards, the portal for the Gates of Heaven are towards the left for me, and this man is also looking towards the left. So the left symbolizes the past, and I'm also sensing that it can be symbolic of the subconscious at this point in time. So there's going to be a deep dive happening for those of you that have Libra in the 12th house. You're really going to be diving into your subconscious. And this is your own portal that's opening up here with the Gates of Heaven. For those of you that have been going through a hard time lately, you're being asked to turn inwards and really journey away from society, away from friends and family, and sit in solitude and stillness. Because you have your own personal gate that's opening for you to awaken and realize deeper truths about yourself. And with the horned moon god coming through, doing so in nature is going to be very beneficial for you. You might go through a spontaneous awakening while you are out in nature. And it's interesting because as we look at this god here, he has horns coming out of the top of his head. And when we think of horns, horns get a bad rap, but horns are symbolic to me, and what's coming through is just the crown chakra energy being made physical, being made manifest. And it's understanding that we usually have two horns that come out, which symbolizes balance between the masculine and the feminine. And it's also understanding that the horns safeguard and indirectly protect our crown chakra as well. So if we look at this deity here, he has his horns coming out right near his crown chakra. So it's understanding that Libra in the 12th house, you're going to be going through a sacred initiation. It's your crown chakra that's going to be opening up even further for you to receive energetic downloads about who you are and what your soul path is. And it's understanding that you're going to have to grow some horns of your own, which means protection around your crown chakra and the downloads you are receiving. Because you are going to be opening up such a potent portal at the top of your head, protection is very, very important. Why is that? So, our crown chakra is the energy center that opens us up to the cosmos, to the universe. But it's understanding that the cosmos and the universe are first and foremost energies. And with energies comes also negative entities as well. So we can have negative entities, we can have positive entities. And it's understanding that regardless of what you attract into your life, these are the entities that have been assigned to you to help you grow. And the growth that needs to happen here is you growing your own kind of horns, so your own protection when it comes to your crown chakra. So we're kind of seeing this soft white energy, this white light here, and similar to other cards that I have read so far today, there's a sense of kind of gullibility and naivety when it comes to energy and the universe. And you're kind of getting a wake-up call with this deity coming through to say, hey, there are energies that aren't always favorable out there, and you need to be able to protect yourself and not be naive or gullible anymore. I'm also picking up for those of you that do channeling to kind of secure your channel and to not just dabble for the sake of it, but make sure you are anchored in your sense of self. And that sense of self needs to be anchored into the Great Mother with this nature-based card coming through. And it's interesting because we have a horned god here, but then we also have the full moon, and the full moon is a feminine archetype. So we're kind of seeing this god kind of, I want to say, paying homage to the goddess here, even though he is a god. So again, this is symbolic of having protection around your divine feminine essence and spirit. We are all meant to be balanced between our inner masculine and our inner feminine. And you're being encouraged, for those of you that have this placement or for who this resonates, to really balance both your feminine and your masculine and to not be naive when it comes to energy. You need to protect yourself. And a lot of you are being initiated and called into tapping more into this strong inner masculine energy to safeguard and protect this delicate, pure feminine energy over here. And I'm also being drawn to this orb here. So you do have a spirit, as I say, guardian, watching over you as you journey through this portal. Because a lot of you are going to be journeying either physically or metaphorically through a portal and calling back more of who you are. And this gate is open starting today for those of you that have this placement. And you're going to be completely changed by this time next year, because you're going to have called back more of your power. You're going to be more balanced, and you're going to see things clearer. You're not going to be naive anymore when it comes to energy. You're going to know how to effectively channel through setting up proper protection. So those are all the messages I'm getting for those of you that have Libra in the 12th house, or for who that resonates. Feel free to let me know what you're currently moving through as we close out this eclipse season today, even though the energies are going to be remaining active. Lastly, I do want to say that I have a special going on for a limited time. So if you book an oracle reading with me, I will also add in looking at your birth chart. So I'll be providing astro insights along with an oracle card reading. I'm not sure how long I'm going to be combining both of those modalities together, but if that's something that interests you, feel free to send me a message and we can take it from there. I'm sending you all so much love.